the show's not done. It's not even close to being done because we're going to get into our Cover Price top 10 hottest comic books of the week. We use this site, coverprice.com, kind of like a NASDAQ, in a stock market index that shows you the data of the hottest comics that were sold in the previous week. This comes out every Tuesday. Our show's on Friday. We like to kind of talk about what these top 10 comics are, and Chris likes to take a few himself and just kind of explore a little further. So why don't we just get into it right now with the top 10 hottest comics? That being number 10. At number 10 is Batman number 93, the Jorge Jimenez variant. At number 9 is Thor number 5, the first Black Winter. Esad Ribic 1 in 25 variant. At number 8 is Alpha Flight number 1, first Puck, Tundra, Wildheart. A lot of good stuff going on there. Number 7, Negan Lives number 1, the gold variant. That's a hard one to get. Pretty expensive. It's going for a pretty expensive price right now. Number 6, Uncanny X-Men 193. Firestar in Marvel continuity. This is still hanging in there with the rumor that she may make an appearance in Disney Plus or somewhere in the MCU. Number 5 is Aliens number 1, the first Aliens in comics, Dark Horse 1988. Number 4 is Paper Girls number 1. Number 3 is Ruins of Ravencroft, Carnage number 1. It's the ancestor of Cassidy, the Carnage now. Number 2 is Civil War 2. Number 4, First Immortal She-Hulk, or so they say. And number 1, Ultimate Fallout. Number 4, the first Miles Morales. That is not going anywhere. That book is hot, hot, hot. Am I right, Chris?
That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say to that.
You cheered on that top 10 right now?
I am a Miles cheerleader, man. I'll go get some pom-poms. Some black and red pom-poms and just I love it.
I mean, how can you not like that character? I mean, we're gonna get into in a second, but how can you not like the character Miles Morales? He's incredible, especially with his, we talk about it every week. We don't need to get into it now. We all love Miles. But right now, you're gonna talk about 3 books from this list that kind of pique your interest. Let's get into that.
Great, diverse 10 books here. This week again, I said it before, I'll say it again. It proves that, comic books are selling. The market is healthy. I picked 3 out. Let's talk about the first one on my list, and that's Alpha Flight number 1. Again, Alpha Flight, man, this book right here is, technically, depending who you talk to, towards the end of the Bronze Age, some call it Copper Age. This is a book right now that I think has been overlooked. This is a storyline that I think has been overlooked. And this is a team that has, there's speculation going on, and at what point are we going to see them in the MCU and whatnot. But look, ultimately, I love the fact that people are going after this book right now because it's from an era that I love so much. It's got a great story. It's got great characters to it. Canada represent, wearing my Montreal Expos hat today, right? But I think the bigger thing is this. This book has been hot, and it keeps creeping up, and the price isn't really going anywhere yet. And I want to really reflect on the fact that people get so sensitive when books get hot. Because they complain about, oh, well, something in the market's being manipulated. It's all because of this. It's all because of that. But really, maybe it's all because you don't own the book. So I'm going to tell folks right now, if you are one of those that really wants to go after a book, but you don't, or you only want to go after it after it gets hot and that price increases, look, this is a book that I'm not guaranteeing you is going to do anything in terms of value. But look, it's a fun book. You can still get it for under $10 in a decent condition. Go buy it, because I'll tell you what, if it does increase in value, then you're going to be happy and not be all sensitive about, darn it, screw this market, it's all rigged, right? So, hey, it's a great book to have. Alpha Flight, man, one of the most underrated groups from Marvel, I think.
I forgot to mention to you in rehearsal here, I actually just purchased this past week 3 issues for a total of $42.
There you go.
That's including shipping, everything, like $42.
Nice. Yep.
So I'm on board. I love John Byrne too, by the way. I never ever own this issue. But as you said, it's been in the top 10 for the past, this is 3 weeks now.
Right.
So it's super affordable. You have no reason. We're not pushing the market up. We're not trying to make money off of this investment. Like it's there. It's there for the taking. There's a ton of them out there.
Absolutely. You know, and this is just, look, you know, I think one thing that collectors tend to miss a lot is that, look, time keeps moving forward. Like, people are just saying, what, Tron Legacy was 10 years ago. I mean, guys, it's 2020. And when you look at the eras of comic books, you know, the older they get, the rarer they get, the more demand is going to be there regardless. And this is just a great run. Let's not just talk about number 1. I have almost a complete run of number 1 through 100 of Alpha Flight. You want to know where I found most of those books in decent high grades? The 50-cent and dollar bins. You know, so this is a run that if you actually enjoy reading, you know, go find some copies for cheap still while you can. It's a great run, and I'm so happy that this book is up here. So
definitely,
that's my take on that.
Hopefully, we'll see some of those characters in the MCU. But moving on,
absolutely. All right. My second pick today is Aliens #1. The first time we see the Aliens franchise in comic books, man. This was talk about time. I was thinking this book came out 22 years ago in 1988, but darn it, it's been 32 years. I'm that old. Beautiful book. I love the old school Dark Horse logo. And I love the colors in this book and the alien coming down. It is just, man, that on that black frame. If you have this book in a high grade, man, keep it. Keep it in some Mylar. So, you know, this book is getting hot for multiple reasons. One that I would just want to point out here real quick. There has been rumor, and it's been in multiple publications, and I don't know the validity of this, but there is rumor that Sigourney Weaver, who is now 70 years old, but hey, still rolling, man. I mean, she doesn't look it. She might be reprising the role of the iconic Ripley in a new Aliens film. I just, man, if this happens, I'm telling you that I'm all for it. What I would love to see is James Cameron and Ridley Scott come together and team up, because we know Ridley's been back under the helm of the film franchise, but we know that what James Cameron did with the Aliens movie, you know, the sequel to the first one, amazing. So if that happens, I definitely think that this book is going to skyrocket in value. Other than different things happening with the property, Marvel taking over, you know, who knows if we do see any kind of new sequels to this franchise, could we see a possible crossover with the MCU?
Whoa. First off, Sigourney Weaver is not 70 years old, is she?
Yeah, she is 70 years old.
Oh,
same age as my mom.
Holy cow. All right.
Crazy.
Next, I just want to kind of reiterate or kind of reinforce what you're saying. Do you think Marvel purchasing the rights to, you know, Predator and Aliens had anything to do with this as well?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, I think we have people that hang on to this stuff. If we know that, and I don't think it necessarily has to do with Marvel. It's just the fact that it's something fresh for the franchise. You know, Marvel's taking them over. You know, it could have been Image or DC or, you know, taken, and I think that would have just boosted the hype and more attention towards this, you know, key book. So absolutely, and I think once we see how Marvel handles it, that's going to obviously influence some of these older books. But I'll tell you, man, I personally, well, for one, I'll be buying those Marvel comics at least at first, because that just it excites me. But two, man, I want to see Marvel. Kevin Feige, who now is mingling and has his hand in the cookie jar of the comic book Marvel too. You know, I want him to say, look, we got these this franchise to this extent. Let's play around with it more. I mean, who can we see like Hulk battling an alien?
I mean, come on. Yeah, like, and by the way, one of the promo images they had in the press release was Predator holding Iron Man's helmet. So,
oh yes,
It's going to be happening, but will it take the next level? Will it take the next step into the MCU?
Yeah.
Woo! That's some serious. Anyways, all right. So moving on. Your third book that you want to talk about.
All right, we got one more.
Indie. I get super excited talking about indie. So let's go.
Yeah. I just and again, this just guys, the comic book industry and market is just doing really, really good right now, and I love seeing indies on this list. And the number one on my picks is Paper Girls. Number one, it's about 5 years old, came out in 2015. The big hype around this book, Amazon Prime exclusive TV show. For those that aren't familiar with the storyline, it's about four young girls that kind of dive into a realm very similar to kind of like a Stranger Things. It's a very sci-fi horror. Takes place in the 80s, very retro. So I'm super excited to see this play out on film. And look, I want to dive into a quick little topic relating to this before we wrap up here. Again, when we talk about movie hype on these comic books, there's a lot of people that are, call them old head collectors or more, genuine collectors, and they're not really into the movies and all this stuff. They're just in it for the stories and the comic books. And they look at movie hype and TV show hype as being negative. But look, guys, it's all about what makes the world go around, right? Movie hype is such an amazing thing. And I've said this before, because it doesn't just bring in us middle-aged men that have been collecting since the 70s or 80s, and we are just so focused on superheroes. It allows these independent companies and these fresh storylines to have more platforms through different media. And we're seeing this, and it's getting more people involved. It's getting more people involved to then see these franchises say, oh, I really enjoyed the show. I'm going to go pick up the comic book now. And then it gets the younger generations involved as well. And I actually think the idea of what multimedia is doing when it comes to cinema and TV shows, and the fact that they are looking so heavily at these characters and these storylines from Boom Studios, Image, Valiant, Dynamite, whatever it may be, it's really opening the doors for more success to share the love in this industry for these independent publishers. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it. It's keeping this industry thriving. And I can't wait for this show because I love Stranger Things. And I think this will be a similar fresh take. And I'm all about the 80s retro stuff as well. So
100%. And Isaac Maynard brought up a very good point. It's always great to see independent publishers make it on the top 10. That's how you have a healthy market right there. I mean, you can't say it better than that. I was just about to say, I love seeing these indies get get their fair share, get the attention, and have the opportunity to be brought to the mainstream. And it only strengthens the market. Isaac, very well said. So that, my friends, is the top 10 for this week.